So also, if you notice what your other hand is doing, your other hand's kind of out here, kind of chasing him, which you're not meaning to do, I know, but he doesn't know that. So you're going to keep your hand to your side. This hand does nothing. It stays right to your side. This hand says come, and then just keep pivoting away until he decides to come to you. There. Good.
Because when you hear and you try to wiggle,
Mm-hmm.
that was something else. Now it's supposed to go forward when you from this side.
Yeah, it's not a forward motion. It's a sideways motion. So you can stop him from going forward.
Yeah, but I'm saying wiggling. Then now he went from this position.
Yeah.
Not to wiggle.
Always means not to go forward. You can tell him to back up from right here. So it always means don't go forward. He's taking you over to the grass is what he's doing. There you go. That was it. But you stop for a second and look where you are. You're out in front of him, right? So he's not going to, and she won't be able to learn it if you're not in proper position. You have to be where the saddle would be. You're inviting him to bring the saddle over. He's so trying to take you to that grass. I call him a lawn dart. Once his nose is down.
My arena is basically all grass.
Yeah, but he's bored. But if you have your girl engaged, she won't even notice the grass. Especially since she's always out on grass. Nope. And you're still too far in front of him. You want to be where the saddle is. There you go. Now invite his shoulder. There. Now he's got it. There. Good. Rub him. Yep. Yep. And you're right to wiggle. You're right because he walked.
Well, he walked, so that's why I left it. Yeah, because if I'm mounting, I want to be here.
Yes. So, and when you're on a mounting block, you don't have that same roaming abilities. So you have to make sure that when you teach it to him, he 100% understands that he's supposed to bring the saddle area to you. If you constantly teach him by being out in front of him, you're going to be doing a lot of this. Right? So it's easier to just teach it on the ground, 100% how you want it to look when you're standing there. Basically, you always plan even with teaching dogs, you always plan for it to look like it's going to look 10 years from now, minus the tools. So ask his hind end to come to you, see if you can, in this case, okay, that I can help you with that too. In this case, what you'll do you have reins that are fairly long at home, or you have a long rope?
Yeah.
Okay. Because what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make it look like the reins, only because you're going to then need to communicate to both parts. So first, you're going to tell the hind end, then you're going to tell the front end. Hind end, front end, hind end, front end. You don't have to go anywhere. You're going to stay right here. You're just going to keep moving out of his way backwards. And, of course, wiggle. If you need to, if he goes forward. No, we'll do the hind end first. Do the hind end first. No, just the one that's the easiest to wiggle. Yep. Hind end. Yep. 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 Just wait. He'll get uncomfortable enough. Just don't let him pull his head back. Because if he can get his head back, then he wins. Good. Now front end. There. Perfect. Yay. Okay, so I'm going to give you poles to kind of stay in so that you can kind of train yourself. So you can do this at home, or you can train yourself and you can keep moving him. You have to go between those. So when you start to back up with him, you have to make sure that you back up between those cones. So that'll keep you in the right position. So if he goes forward, if he goes back, you can just tell him to go forward. Good. Now he sees the cones. I might have confused him by. Yep. Yep. There you go. Good.
Okay, now you have to figure something more on it, right? I mean, you would have the mounting block there.
Yeah, the mounting block, and sometimes.
Stop him at some point.
Right, but when you're teaching though, you kind of gotta allow some of the stuff you're gonna eventually cut out, because otherwise, if you get in his way by saying you're wrong, he's not gonna think that he did any of it right. But sometimes, and honestly, sometimes the mounting block doesn't stop them. Sometimes, next thing you know, they're in your lap on the mounting block. You know, they're side passing over the mounting block. So you do have to kind of get to where you can tell them, you know, put a block out there and tell them, okay, that's far enough. But that's not in the teaching phase.
It's like really heavy.
Okay.
My husband's base and
Yes, I like to play. Here, lift this foot up. Thank you. Okay. Well, we can go for like 10 more minutes. If you want to get on, we can do that. You think? So even though he knows the over to the mounting block, we'll still do it like you're gonna teach it. Buddy, I'm going to move you a little bit and then I'll tighten it. I'm not going to squeeze you in half right now. So we got to tighten that cinch one more time. I just want him to move for a second. I don't want to just cut him in half. So when you... Wow. Yeah, well, good thing you did that then. That it turns out that she would have needed it adjusted.
Because last time I did it was 2 years ago when I brought her. And I couldn't believe it.
That's because you guys go out on the trails all the time. She's... Okay. Wow. Okay, so you're going to step up on the mounting block. If you need to ask him to go forward, ask him to go forward. If you need him to back up, ask him to back up, whichever. So ask him to, so you're going to lead him like forward. Good. 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 Now ask him to step his hind end over. So you're going to put your hand up in the air like it looks like with the reins. Yep. Good. Yep. Yep. Good boy. There. Now he doesn't have any mane to get in the way.
What do you think about that?
Oh, he doesn't care. I've done that to him before.
I thought it's protecting from the light.
Well, it does, but they go out at night. They don't go, they're not out during the day. Okay. So if you were to ask him to do an emergency stop, how would you gather your reins quickly? Good. 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 And then ask him to walk off.
So when I'm teaching her that, how long does that let me stand still? Like,
For as long as she's willing to. Yeah, if you want your horse to stop, be glad that she's willing to stay stopped.
because I'm like, when she does it, she's getting better and better. And I let her
Then stop her again until it's your idea. Yeah, I had a horse that didn't stop. He had to all go, all go, all go. And yeah, hurry up and stretch. And does she stop doing it?
Yeah.
Good. So if you were to gather your reins together and then put your hand behind you, are you on your balance point? I'd say it's more fingertips than, there you go. Should comfortably be able to put your hand flat on his rump. If you're not, then that means you need to adjust your tailbone more under you. And you should feel, once you get under your balance point, you should feel every movement he makes, and you should feel almost like you're attached to him. When you're sitting off your balance point, you almost feel like you're working against him and you're just riding the saddle. Now, if you were looking for the stop him. I realize he's coughing, but... Oh, he's got more. Something went up his nose there. Good. My goodness. Something went up his nose. Okay, so if you were to do an emergency stop, yep, make him come all the way around. I don't care if he's looking at something. You're not going to care if he's looking at something when you want him to stop desperately. Pull him around, pull him around, pull him around, pull him around. Make sure that other rein's loose enough that he can do it, though. There, up. Keep him, keep him, keep him, keep him, keep him. All the way around, all the way around. Good, now you can let his head go. If he's willing to just stay there, great. If not, bring him back to a stop. Okay. So what I would do to just make sure that they always understand that that's how they're going to be stopped if they don't show you the respect of stopping just because you raised a rein. Because see, when I stop them, I just raise a rein. I don't have to pull on. One's a rein. I make my reins uneven. I raise this rein uneven. Okay. And then when I want them to go, I put them both forward. Yeah. And my body tells them to go forward. When I want them to stop, my body, I sink down into my pockets and my body, like I anchor myself as if, I'm worried to stop. Okay. So the emergency brake, you're always going to settle real deep in your pockets. So that way he knows that you're settling down and it's a stop. When you want him to go forward, you're going to come off your pockets. So if you're not asking for him to go, then don't let him just go. Bad habit for him to get into. Good? Now if he was to walk off, just bring him right and tie him right up. Because see, I want him to not, say he goes to walk off and you just pull the reins tight and he gets away with just walking off and getting the reins tight. I want him to think that he's going to be bent in half every time he doesn't do what I want him to do. So tie, if that's not what you want, bend him in half. Yep, I was going to say, then bring your hand out and around if you have to. And just be careful when you move your leg back that you're not accidentally kicking him forward. Okay. When you're ready, ask him to go. Good. Well, that's something you teach them on the ground first. So that way when you're in the saddle, it looks the same and it's something that's been done repetitiously. So that way it's just an automatic thing. It's like hitting the brakes, after you've been driving for a while, you hit the brakes, it's automatic. You don't have to think about it. It's the same thing with the horse. They should not have to think about it. It should feel like an emergency stop, and they should just stop. But if you don't teach it to them, oh yeah, do it on the ground first, and do it where you're standing in the saddle position. You ask her to walk off, emergency stopper standing at her side. Ask her to walk. You could even do it where you could ask her to trot off and you run next to her and then ask her to emergency stop. Yep. All the way around your toe, And you can even, my reins are kind of long for a pony, but you can even just drop all the other reins and just pull around one rein. Because if you get in the habit of pulling both reins at the same time, you're preventing him from being able to do it. And definitely a horse with their head straight can go anywhere they want. They can go anywhere they want with their head bent around, but if you disengage their hind end, they can't. Good. And then you let him loose. So you always want to get him stopped and let him loose unless you're in trouble. I mean, if he say you just got him calmed down from a dead run and you got him finally stopped, you're not going to let him loose. You're going to get off, I would hope, or figure out how to let him off that restriction back to a walk. If they go to take off again, did you ask him to walk? Good. Yep. Now, if he walks off on his own, you're going to just do it all over again. And that's going to help, especially if your girl's that way too, because you don't seem to notice when he's doing it. So I'm assuming your girl just walks off also. You can teach them patience. This is definitely a good exercise for teaching him that I don't have to move my feet if I'm not told to, and I don't have to find something to keep myself busy. It teaches him patience. Yep. All the way around. Good. Now you can let him loose. Good. And if he goes to walk off before you tell him, bend him back in half. Good boy. So now, since our time is actually up, we're going to go ahead and ask him to walk. Well, finish that, yeah. Hey! Ask him to walk, bend him in half, and dismount like you're in an emergency. So you can do that whole exact thing, keep him bent around to your leg, but jump off. 1, 2, 3, bend around, put your hands up in the mane and jump off. Yep. Good. Because that's something you want to practice too, just because you can get like a frozen duck up there, when you're in trouble, and now you've got them bent around, but you really let's just say that you can only get her slowed down to a slow trot. You're going to need to feel comfortable enough that you have the ability to just jump off. Good boy. Oh, he is. He's got lessons later, too. Good boy. Take this one.
Morning, then it gets too hot.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be like 80-something, 87 today.
Yesterday, it was 80-something.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the heat. The horses aren't either, Like people who think, oh, it's 100 degrees, I want to go ride my horse. Well, your horse doesn't want to be ridden.
Yeah.
Go get your grass.
We left like 8:30 in the morning.
Go.
So, and it's mostly all in the shade, like in the woods. So, much cooler.
Do you have a lot of the bugs bothering you in the woods?
Some spots.
Yeah.
There's some more.
Go ahead. You're okay.
Wetlands, so, I mean, now, usually I live with a climate storm. I don't know.
They have this cool